Well, I'm back. Yes, I know it's been a little while since you guys have heard from me. And in the meantime, there's all kinds of exciting things that have been happening. Basically, I've just been extremely busy getting this year rolling, and that means teaching tons of classes. I set a goal for myself at the beginning of 2017, and I said that I want this to be a year where I am just full speed ahead, putting out to the world as much knowledge, wisdom, and light as possible. I've cleared a lot of things off my plate as far as personal life stuff in order to be able to have the time and the energy to really go full throttle with my teachings, with seeing my individual clients, and that means really exploring different avenues. I've been doing a lot of work filming videos for the House of Intuition television channel, which is HOI.TV. You can go on there, you can get a monthly subscription. I think you can also get a weekly subscription, and you can use my discount code Naha22. And if you do that, you can see a whole broad range of classes that are taught by all of the different teachers at House of Intuition on a variety of metaphysical topics, everything from yoga to astrology to crystals. I have 2 courses on there right now. One is different classes on crystals, and there is also a course that is currently up called Elemental Magic. I just filmed new episodes on elemental anatomy, and those launched last week, and there's going to be more episodes rolling out this Friday, so there's new content put out there all the time. Now, on top of that, I'm also teaching my in-person classes at House of Intuition. So if you're in Los Angeles and you'd like to come and participate and learn tarot or magic, crystals, meditation, any of these things with me, there is an opportunity to do so. And you can find out about all of those things by finding me on Facebook, which is 22 Teachings. That's the name of my school. And, I really got excited when this channel started because I wanted this to be just another opportunity for me to share really what is basically my hobby that ended up kind of turning into my career, which of course is tarot. Tarot was the gateway drug into the esoteric for me. It is the thing that drew me in when I was only 16 years old. I've shared that story in another video. And little did I know that that would just be this endless rabbit hole of discovering myself and all of the mysteries that have been being revealed to me through the process that started with the tarot. As I've shared with you guys, I've been a very avid collector of tarot decks, but never to the degree that I have been ever since this channel started, because suddenly I am green lighted on buying decks and having this excuse of, well, I am going to be sharing these with you guys, giving you my thoughts, and also kind of using it as an opportunity to tell you stories and kind of, get some of my ideas out to the world as well. What things that I think about readings, divination, tarot in general, just the nature of everything, being a professional tarot reader and what that looks like. And I do want to do those kind of story time videos for you guys. But in the meantime, since I haven't been filming, something has happened. Let me show you. I've accumulated some mail, and this is all unopened tarot decks. All the way from January. It's a travesty, I know. And it's kind of to the point where I'm not even exactly sure where to start. I don't even remember at this point everything that I've ordered or not ordered. I don't even know if all of my packages arrived that are supposed to be here. There are a few things that I know that I ordered, or one in specific, which is a very, very rare, expensive tarot deck that I waited a long time to get. And so I know that somewhere in this pile there is a deck that I actually spent a pretty significant amount of money on, and it would probably be a good idea for me to make sure that it's actually in there and in okay condition. But at this point in time, I think that I'm just going to have to jump on in and grab something and just open it for you guys and see what it is. And we will have to just get through this pile together over the coming weeks. So there is a package right here on the top. It did come from eBay. Now, I've told you guys before, I don't usually order decks off of eBay unless they are hard to find, or if they're out of print. Those are the times that I will go on to eBay. And you want to be kind of careful. You don't want to be taken advantage of with how much somebody might charge for a rare deck. The deck that I use, and I'll show it to you guys on here one day, that I read with clients with, is called the Cassiopeia Tarot. And it's a rare out of print deck, but it's been out of print since like the early 2000s, I believe. And you can find this deck from time to time on eBay, or occasionally you can find it on other websites as well. And I see it usually going for about $50, which I would imagine is probably about double the cost that it was when it was originally available and printed. That being said, look up Cassiopeia on Amazon and tell me how much people are selling it for on there. Because I, a couple years ago, had seen it for $300. Last I looked, somebody was selling that deck for $800. Now, that's insane. That's just somebody trying to take advantage and trying to find a sucker out there. So don't be that sucker. Don't pay $800 for that tarot deck. What I recommend is if there's a deck that you're looking for and you can't find it, put a notification on eBay so that they'll email you whenever that deck eventually does show up. And, you know, I mean, it's up to you how much you're willing to spend on something. But I would say, like, a rare deck, $50 is, like, pretty much, you know, a reasonable thing. Now, that being said, as I shared, there is a rare deck that's in here that I did spend more than that, but this is a deck that's been out of print for many, many decades. So something that's much, much older, you might have to spend more for. I have no idea what this is, but I will tell you, I was looking for a book that was supposed to come in the mail, and I thought maybe this was it, and so I did actually open the package, but when I opened it, it wasn't a book, it was just another box. So I actually don't know what's inside, but like I said, it did come from eBay, so let's open it and see. Well, as it turns out, this is not a tarot deck, but it is something really cool that I'm going to share with you guys. This is called Urania's Mirror. Now, it comes with a book. It comes with 32 cards, as you can see right here. They're astrological constellations. This is Leo Major and Leo Minor. These are really pretty awesome cards. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but where each of the little stars are on the constellation, this card is actually perforated. And so I believe you'd have to take a little pin and actually punch out the little perforations because they're still in there. But I believe that this is so you could actually hold this up to the sky and line the stars up with it. Now, I'm going to read to you the cover of this book, which says Urania's Mirror, or A View of the Heavens, consisting of 32 cards, on which are represented all the constellations visible in Great Britain on a plan perfectly original, designed by a lady, a facsimile edition of the first American edition of Urania's mirror from 1832. So I actually ran across these images when I was creating my newsletter a couple months back. And I was looking up stories about the different zodiac signs and what the mythology behind those signs are, because the mythology oftentimes it stems from the constellation and the story about the image of the constellation. And so I had found these images from this book, Urania's Mirror, and as I said, it's been republished in this edition, which is actually really nicely done. Now, I am not a huge fan of facsimile editions, and I think that I do want to say a little warning about that. If you're looking at occult books, if you're looking up old out-of-print things, and you're looking online, it's available on Amazon, it's available on eBay, you're going to see that there's a couple of these companies. One I believe is called Kessinger, and you'll never see that these things have like an actual cover or a picture. It's like just this stock photo that's used for like any book that is published under these companies. And what they are is they are taking old occult books and manuscripts, things that are in public domain, meaning that they're so old that there's no longer any copyright involved with them. They're just Xeroxing them, printing them, and selling them. And they're not taking the time to do it in a very nice way at all. If somebody's going to republish a book, you would think that they might take the time to actually set the type themselves or put that in some kind of a quality way, and not to just basically Xerox it, not even worrying about if there's pages missing or if things are crooked, and then binding it and selling it as the original document. And it's really disappointing when you buy something that you think is going to be this profound work, and then it's just, you know, sometimes things are not as you might expect them to be. Kind of like when I thought this was going to be a tarot deck and then it wasn't. But this is a really nice reproduction of these images. So all 32 plates are here. This is Cassiopeia. We see her. Oh, look at this guy. He's like a weird giraffe. Camelopardalis. So you can see all of these really cool constellations. Here's Draco and Ursa Minor. Ursa's the bear. Draco's the dragon. Let's see if we can find some of the zodiac here. So we saw Leo, of course. Here is, well, let's see. Here's Pisces. And you can see that over the top of the constellation, you can see these drawings, and they're done really beautifully. And I think it's kind of amusing that on the cover of this book, it says, designed by a lady. Let me see if I can find out anything else about who she was. This was published in 2004 by Barnes & Noble. Actually, I didn't know that they published things specifically. I thought it was just a bookstore, but there you go. This beautiful constellation card kit was created by an anonymous young English lady, and it was accompanied by a guidebook written by Jehoshaphat Aspin, the author of many works on history and geography. It was first published in London by Samuel Lee in 1825. The first North American edition was published in 1832 and is reprinted here. So that's very interesting that it was anonymous, that this woman created this. And actually, considering the time period, I'm kind of happy to know, even that for the fact that she was anonymous, that at least they gave her credit for being a woman, because they very well could have just like attributed it to some man and said that, you know, some guy actually, you know, given him credit for this. Here's Aquarius. A lot of times we think of Aquarius in modern imagery as being a woman. Even on the Aquarius correlates to the star card in the major arcana, and so we see a woman oftentimes on that card. But the constellation originally was a derivative from Aquarius being a man who's holding that vessel. Here's Capricorn the Sea Goat. I think this might have been the image that I was looking up when I was originally discovering this. Here's Sagittarius, one of the fire signs. He's the archer, he's the centaur. You guys know who this is. Scorpio. And this is kind of interesting. Libra. Now, Libra we know is the balance. And it's one of the few signs where there's not really a figure involved. There's not really a person. It's not the person like we see on the Justice card holding the balance and the sword in the other hand. The constellation is actually just the actual scales, the balance. They're in sort of a weird kind of formation there, aren't they? Here's Virgo. Virgo is the Virgin, and that corresponds in the tarot to the Hermit card. I think you guys will know who this one is. That's Cancer, the crab. Cancer corresponds to the Chariot. And here's Gemini, the twins. We all know Geminis are kind of notorious for having their two sides, their split personality, if you will. Here's Taurus the Bull. And that means that did we look at Aries already? I don't think that we saw Aries, so I haven't seen it in here yet. So these are pretty awesome. We can see some of the other constellations that you guys might be familiar with. There's Ursa Major, and some which I've definitely never heard of. Oh, here's Aries. This one, for instance, the Lynx. Lynx and Telescopium Herscheli. So that's obviously named after Herschel, the astronomer, and we see that little telescope in the sky. But I've never heard of the Lynx constellation before. So I'm excited to have these. I thought that they were absolutely stunning when I was looking at the images online. And so I'm very excited now to actually have these. I mean, these would be, you could totally, they're suitable for framing. And I think that this is something that's still, that you're still able to get. I don't think that I paid that much for this. But there is an explanation of all of the plates in here. So that's Urania's mirror. Go ahead and take a look and enjoy. And we will be getting to the rest of these tarot decks as soon as possible. Thanks, guys. Bye.